This is part 6 of a series of videos I am doing playing Lovecraftesque 2nd edition using the new solo play rules. So, I think in this scene, Paul is going to wake up in a strange room. He is tied to a chair. I think I was going to say bed, but let's say chair. He's in, it's a dark room with the sloping roof. He can just see there's a bit of light coming through from somewhere. He can just about make out there's a slope roof, and he can see this kind of stuff around him on the floor, maybe boxes or something like that. Just from a little bit of light that's coming through cracks in the floor nearby. And as he's starting to he's starting to regain his faculties, and he's realizing he must be in an attic somewhere, probably in the house that he was just sneaking around outside. And I think it has occurred to Paul that he might find himself in this kind of situation. He wasn't expecting it to happen here. He thought at some point the Red Silks might get wind of what he was up to and he could end up captured. So he actually has a razor blade stashed inside his shoe. And he's in an uncomfortable position to try and get this blade out, but he's doing his best. He's starting to try and work his foot up to a position where he can just kind of slip the razor blade out. He's got to be real careful so he doesn't drop it, and hopes to get this blade out so he can cut himself free. But while he's doing that, he notices something strange in the room with him, and what he sees is sort of veins of something that glows, something luminescent. And initially, when his eyes are starting to adjust to the dark, he couldn't see it before, but now he's seeing these faint traceries, probably on the roof, and he sort of pauses very briefly before continuing to try and get this blade out, but maybe with his attention a bit divided, as he's looking at this thing and wondering what on earth it could be in the roof of a building that would glow like that. And worse, it looks like this stuff is actually just very slowly moving, or like as though some sort of liquid were slowly flowing across the surface of the roof, and very definitely towards him. So he is starting to feel increasingly panicked. So he can see this stuff flowing towards him very gradually down the roof, while he painstakingly contorts his body to try and get the blade out. Now, because this is a solo game, if this was a multiplayer game, I think I would probably activate the risk rule, but it doesn't really make sense to do so in solo play, so we don't do that. Instead, I'll just consider what would be most fun. I think my options are, he could get caught. I think that'd be quite boring because he'd just end up back where he was. He could lose the blade and fail to get out, but that would be really boring. I think the most interesting thing that can happen here is that some of this glowing stuff could get on him. So that's what I'm gonna go for. So he's frantically, as this thing's getting closer and closer to him, he is agonizingly working his fingers towards his shoe, and he's getting cramp, and it's horrible. He manages to slip the blade out, and then he's frantically sawing at his bonds, and he pulls himself free and fairly jumps to his feet, really, to try and get away from this glowing stuff that he doesn't know what it is. Definitely doesn't like being this near to it, and creeps over to the trapdoor in the floor and opens it a crack. I think we, as the audience, can see a little droplet, a few little drop speckles of that glowing stuff on the back of his clothes. So he's definitely got this stuff on him. We don't yet know what it does. So for fears and rationalizations, obviously, Paul doesn't have the opportunity to write any notes or properly think to himself, but I think his mind is racing. He is really concerned about what these people might be willing to do to him, given that they have clubbed him over the head and tied him up. He's worried about how he might be able to get out, given that he's presumably, he's inside the building that they're all in, and how on earth is he going to get past them without getting caught? And I think he is also concerned about this glowing. He's not really thinking about it. It's not at the front of his mind, other than as a pulse of adrenaline that's making him even more frightened than he otherwise would be. But some part of him is thinking, what the hell was that? What could that have been? And all he can do is ignore it in a way. As probably a part of him is thinking, you've been hit over the head. Try not to. It's probably nothing. Maybe it's just a bit of a leak in the roof that's somehow catching the light. But he can't think about that. He's got to focus on getting out of there. For leaping to conclusions, because I ended up with this weird combination of cards, a crime spree and a bizarrerie. I didn't use strange location yet. Crime spree just didn't feel right for the situation he was in, so I was kind of stuck with a bizarrerie, and that's one of the interesting things that can happen in solo play with Lovecraftesque is you might get a prompt at some point in the game that doesn't quite fit with what you were doing. So what I've done, I've played bizarrerie, and I've decided that this is some sort of alien fungus or something, and I think maybe the alien spaceship that Ethel found, actually it wasn't uninhabited. It had this stuff inside it, and I think the stuff is still fully in control. It is running this technology through Ethel, and so although Ethel thinks that she is the puppet master and all of her workers are just robots who'll do what she wants, in a way she herself is a robot too, and touching that console did take away her free will, albeit in a way that left her feeling like she still had control. Okay, so I have played Bizarrery. I can get rid of that. I'm going to hold on to Strange Location. I think that could be quite good at some point. But Crime Spree would have been really good early on in this playthrough, but I think I don't see myself using it now, so I'm just going to get rid of that too and draw myself a couple more cards. And okay, so I've got Horror Out of Time, which is for things that are either from the past or future, or seem to be from the past or future, and Spore is for trails of claw marks or droppings or strange noises that would indicate something, some creature nearby. Lovecraftesque 2nd edition is currently crowdfunding on BackerKit, and we are funding a new boxed set full of lovely card prompts and gorgeous art and amazing scenarios. So I really urge you to go and get over there and back it so you can get your copy, and there's a link for that in the show notes of this video.